They were looking at us long before we started looking at them. The cat that watched you from across the room this morning in ancient Egypt, that animal was divine. Killing one, even accidentally, was punishable by death. Entire cities mourned when a temple cat died. They were mummified, given elaborate funerals, buried with offerings. The cow in the field you drove past in India, that animal embodies the Divine Mother, the prosperity of the earth, the inexhaustible generosity of life itself. To harm one is not merely cruel, it is a cosmic offense. The eagle that circles overhead, the Romans read the future in its flight. The Norse believed Odin's wisdom traveled on two ravens. The Aztecs built their entire capital on the spot where an eagle stood on a cactus eating a serpent, exactly as the gods had prophesied. The snake that makes you recoil, the Greeks placed it at the center of medicine. The Egyptians crowned their pharaohs with its image. The Aztecs made it the feathered serpent god, one of the most powerful beings in their cosmos. The Hindus coiled it around Shiva's neck. Every civilization that has ever existed without exception looked at the animal world and saw something they could not fully explain. A power, a presence, a window into something larger than the ordinary. And what they did with that recognition, the animals they chose, the meanings they assigned, the rituals they built around them, tells us more about each civilization than almost anything else they left behind. Because the animals a culture makes sacred are the animals that embodied what that culture most needed to believe. Today we go through every major tradition, every sacred animal, every story, and at the end, the question that no culture has ever quite answered. Were they seeing something real? Let's find out. Ancient Egypt, the most animal-obsessed civilization in history. No civilization in history built a more elaborate theology around animals than ancient Egypt. The Egyptians didn't just revere animals, they merged them with their gods. They gave their most powerful divine beings the heads of animals and the bodies of humans, creating hybrid figures that embodied both divine power and earthly presence simultaneously. This was not primitive superstition. It was a sophisticated theological statement. The divine is not entirely separate from the natural world. The qualities we most need from our God's ferocity, wisdom, protection, death are visible, present, and alive in the creatures that share the earth with us. The cat Bastet, goddess of home, protection, fertility, and joy, was depicted as a cat or a woman with a cat's head. Her center of worship was the city of Bubastis, where an annual festival drew hundreds of thousands of pilgrims by Herodotus's account, one of the largest religious gatherings in the ancient world. Why the cat? In the Nile Delta, where grain stores attracted rats and mice, the cat was the difference between feeding your family and starvation. The cat protected the harvest and, therefore, protected life itself. But the cat was also something stranger, unpredictable, impossible to fully tame, present when it chose to be, absent when it didn't, comfortable in both the domestic world and the wild. The Egyptians saw in the cat a being that existed on the threshold between the human world and something else, a quality they associated with the divine. Gods, like cats, could not be fully controlled. They appeared when they chose to. Killing a catavan accidentally was a capital offense. When a house cat died of natural causes, the entire family shaved their eyebrows in mourning. Cats were mummified by the millions. Archaeological sites have yielded hundreds of thousands of cat mummies, some created as votive offerings, some as genuine burials of beloved animals. The ibis Thoth, god of writing, knowledge, magic, and the moon, was depicted as an ibis or an ibis-headed man. The ibis fed in the shallow waters of the Nile Delta, using its long curved beak to probe the mud with extraordinary precision, finding what was hidden, extracting what was buried. The Egyptians saw this as a physical embodiment of wisdom, the capacity to reach into the hidden and draw out what others couldn't find. Thoth was the scribe of the gods, the one who recorded divine decrees, who measured time, who created writing itself. The ibis's curved beak looked to Egyptian eyes like the crescent moon connecting Thoth to both the lunar cycle and the measurement of time. The Apis bull. The most sacred animal in Memphis was Apis, a specific individual bull selected by precise physical criteria: a black body, a white triangular marking on the forehead, a crescent moon shape on its right side, a scarab-shaped marking under its tongue. When an Apis bull died, the entire country mourned. It was mummified with the same care as a pharaoh. Its body was placed in an enormous granite sarcophagus in the sacred Serapeum at Saqqara, vast underground complex built specifically for bull burials. Priests then searched Egypt for a calf born at the moment the old Apis died, the reincarnation of the divine bull, beginning its new life. The Apis bull embodied strength, fertility, and the power of the pharaoh, who was himself considered a living god. When the pharaoh identified with Apis, he was claiming the power of the most physically impressive animal in the Egyptian world. The cobra uraeus, specifically the Egyptian cobra, Naja Hajjasat, at the crown of every pharaoh, forever poised to strike. This was the uraeus, the divine cobra that protected the pharaoh by spitting fire at his enemies. The cobra is the most dangerous animal in Egypt. It kills without warning, at a distance, before its target can respond. As a protective symbol for the divine ruler, the being whose word was law and whose will could not be safely opposed, the cobra was perfect. The pharaoh was protected by the most lethal precision in the natural world. What Egypt's animals tell us. The Egyptians were one of the most naturalistic civilizations in history. Their art depicted animals with extraordinary accuracy and affection, long before most cultures bothered to observe the natural world carefully. What they built theologically reflected this: a cosmos in which the divine and the natural were not separate categories, but interpenetrating realities. The gods were present in the animals. The animals were windows into the gods. Every time an Egyptian saw a cat stretching in the sun, they were seeing Bastet. Every ibis in the delta was Thoth at work. The divine was not elsewhere. It was here, feathered and scaled and furred, going about its business in the ordinary world. Hinduism: the cow, the elephant, the monkey, and the serpent. Hinduism has the most elaborate and diverse sacred animal tradition of any living religion, and it is profoundly misunderstood in the West, where Hindus worship cows, is repeated as a punchline without any curiosity about what it actually means. Let's do it properly. The cow Gau Mata. The cow is sacred in Hinduism for reasons that are simultaneously ecological, economic, historical, and theological in understanding. All four levels reveals a system of extraordinary depth. Ecologically, the cow is the most productive animal in the Indian agricultural system. A living cow produces milk, pulls plows, and provides dung for fuel and fertilizer. A dead cow provides leather and bones, but only once. The living cow is worth far more than the eaten cow. Economically, in ancient India, cattle were the primary measure of wealth and the foundation of the agricultural economy. Protecting cows was protecting prosperity. Theologically, the cow is associated with Kamadinutha, divine wish-fulfilling cow, the cosmic mother who gives all nourishment. The cow embodies the principle of generosity without limit. She gives milk and asks nothing but grass and water. In a cosmology that emphasizes the virtues of selfless giving, the cow is the living model. And the cow is the vehicle of Nandi Shiva's sacred bulland, the companion of Krishna, the most beloved avatar of Vishnu, who grew up as a cowherd in the village of Vrindavan. To harm a cow is to harm the mother. To protect a cow is to embody the divine principle of protection. Ganesha, the elephant god. The elephant-headed son of Shiva and Parvatis, the most widely worshipped deity in the Hindu pantheon. He is invoked at the beginning of every undertaking, every journey, every new project. Why the elephant head? The elephant in Indian culture represents wisdom, memory, patience, and the power to remove obstacles. An elephant can move through the densest forest, removing everything in its path not with violence, but with sheer, gentle persistence. An elephant never forgets. An elephant lives long and accumulates wisdom over decades. Ganesha embodies all of this, the deity who has the wisdom to understand obstacles and the power to remove them. His story that Parvati created him from clay and Shiva cut off his head in a moment of divine misunderstanding before restoring him with an elephant's head is one of the most vivid origin stories in any mythology. The lesson embedded in it, even death, at the hands of even the most powerful, can be reversed through love. Hanuman, the monkey god. The divine monkey general, devoted servant of the god Ramesh, worshipped across India as the embodiment of devotion, strength, and selfless service. The monkey in Indian tradition was observed to be intelligent, social, protective of its group, and capable of extraordinary feats of agility and problem-solving. Hanuman takes all of these qualities to their divine maximum. He can fly, he can change his size from infinitely small to infinitely large. He can carry mountains, he can cross oceans. But his greatest quality is not his power. It is his absolute, unwavering loyalty to Rama. When asked where he keeps Rama in his heart, Hanuman tears open his own chest and the image of Rama and Sita glows from within. The monkey became the vehicle for the highest theological value in the Vaishnava tradition, that love and devotion, freely given, is itself divine. The Naga sacred serpents. Snakes in Hindu tradition are both feared and revered. The tension between those two responses is itself theologically significant. The Nagas are serpent deities, divine beings who inhabit the waters and the depths of the earth, guardians of treasure, sources of both blessing and danger. Shiva wears the great serpent, Vasuki, as a necklace. The god Vishnu rests on the infinite serpent, Adi Shesha, who floats on the cosmic ocean. The cobra Nagis worshipped directly in the festival of Nag Panchami, with milk offerings left at serpent holes. The serpent is the guardian of the threshold between the surface world and the underworld, between the known and the unknown, between life and the forces that can extinguish it. To honor the serpent is to acknowledge that the dangerous forces of the world deserve respect, not simply fear. Garuda, the divine eagle. Vishnu rides on Garudan, enormous divine eagle, enemy of all serpents. Garuda embodies speed, power, and divine purpose. His wingspan covers the sky. His arrival means divine intervention. Garuda is the vehicle of the preserver god, the being who swoops down when the cosmic balance tips too far toward darkness. In Hindu cosmology, the serpent and the eagle are in eternal opposition, the underground and the sky, the hidden and the visible, chaos and order. That this opposition is not resolved, but maintained with both sides having divine status, reflects Hindu theology's comfort with paradox. Ancient Greece, the gods and their animals. The Greek gods had animals, and their animals were not arbitrary. Each one was chosen with the precision of a poet who understood that an image must be exactly right. Zeus the eagle. The eagle is the king of the birds. It soars higher than any other creature. Its vision is incomparable. It can see a mouse from 1,000 meters. It is solitary, powerful, and supremely indifferent to what other creatures think of it. Zeus, king of the gods, ruler of the sky, lord of lightning, could not have a lesser animal. But the eagle also served Zeus practically. In myth, it was the eagle that daily tore out the liver of Prometheus, chained to his rock, regenerating each night so the eagle could return each morning. The king of birds as the instrument of divine justice. Athena the owl. The owl sees in darkness. It is silent in flight. It is patient motionless for hours, watching, waiting, understanding the situation completely before it acts. Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and craftsmanship, could only be represented by the animal that embodies seeing what others cannot see, in conditions where others are blind. The little owl Athena noctua was so associated with Athens, Athena's city, that it appeared on every Athenian coin. Taking owls to Athens was a Greek idiom for bringing something to a place that already had plenty of it. The owl of Athena is also the origin of the Western association between owls and wisdom, an association so deeply embedded in culture that most people have forgotten where it came from. Artemis, the deer and the bear. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, the moon, and wild places, was associated with deer, bears, and the free animals of the forest. She was their protector as much as the goddess of those who hunted them. This paradox is theologically precise. The most skilled hunter is also the greatest protector of the hunted. The person who understands an animal well enough to find it and kill it understands it well enough to know when it must not be killed. Artemis represents the principle that the natural world belongs to itself, that it is not simply a resource for human use, but a sacred order that must be navigated with reverence. Poseidon, the horse, and the bull. Before Poseidon was primarily associated with the sea, he was a god of earthquakes and horses. The horse in the ancient world was the most powerful technology available to humans. The difference between winning and losing wars, between covering ground and being stationary, between power and helplessness. Poseidon's association with the sea came later, as Greek civilization became maritime. His bull connection persisted in the myth of the Cretan bull, the magnificent animal he sent from the sea, whose offspring became the Minotaur. The bull raw power, uncontrolled fertility, the danger of the natural world entering the human world is exactly what Poseidon represents in his most elemental form. Hermes, the caduceus serpents. Hermes, messenger of the gods, guide of souls, patron of travelers and merchants, and thieves, carried the caduceus, a staff with two serpents intertwined. The two serpents represent the reconciliation of opposites, the balance of forces, the communication that moves between different realms, living and dead, divine and human, buyer and seller. Hermes is the god of thresholds, and serpents are the animals of thresholds, the creatures that move between the underground and the surface, the hidden and the visible. The caduceus has been confused in modern medical symbolism with the rod of Asclepius, a single serpent that represents healing. But Hermes's double serpent represents something different, the skilled navigation of a world full of opposing forces. Norse mythology, ravens, wolves, and the serpent that encircles the world. The Norse relationship with animals is rawer than Greece's, more intimate than Egypt's, and more honest about the danger animals represent. In a world of long dark winters, genuine predators, and seas that killed without warning, the Norse did not have the luxury of purely symbolic animals. Their sacred animals were the ones that shared their world and sometimes hunted them. Odin, Hugin, and Munin, the ravens. Odin had two ravens, Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory. Every morning they flew out across the 9 worlds. Every evening they returned to perch on Odin's shoulders and whisper everything they had seen into his ears. Odin was the god of wisdom, and wisdom, the Norse believed, required perfect thought and perfect memory. Without either, knowledge was partial and unreliable. But the poetic Edda records something remarkable. Odin saying that he worries about the ravens leaving and not returning, but that he worries more about Munin not returning than Hugin. Memory is more precious than thought. You can think new thoughts. You cannot recover lost memories. The Norse built their greatest anxiety directly into their most sacred animal, Odin's Sleipnir, the 8-legged horse. Odin's horse Sleipnir is the finest horse in existence, with 8 legs, capable of moving between the worlds, carrying Odin to the land of the dead and back. 8 legs, the number of a coffin carried by 4 pallbearers. Sleipnir is the horse that can take you to death and bring you back. The messenger's horse made divine, the wolf Fenrir, and the ambivalence of power. The wolf appears in Norse mythology in deeply ambivalent form. Odin's wolves, Jerry and Freki, ate the food that Odin did not eat, sustained himself only on wine and wisdom. His wolves represented the wild, consuming forces that operated at the edges of civilization. But Fenrir the monstrous wolf, son of Loki, presented something else, the consuming power of chaos so vast that the gods themselves could not defeat it, they could only bind it. And the binding of Fenrir required the sacrifice of the god Tyr's hand, the price of containing, even temporarily, the force of absolute destruction. The wolf in Norse tradition is sacred, not because it is safe, but because it is real. It exists at the boundary of the human world, close enough to fear, powerful enough to respect, impossible to fully control. Jormungandr, the world serpent. The Midgard serpent encircles the entire earth in the depths of the ocean, biting its own tail. It is so vast that it can hold itself in a circle that encompasses all the land that exists. It is Thor's greatest enemy. At Ragnarok, they kill each other. The world serpent is the limit of the known world, the boundary beyond which everything ends. It represents the edge of human understanding and the force that will ultimately destroy even the strongest. The Norse did not worship the world serpent. They feared it with a deep, honest fear. But they also acknowledged it, named it, gave it a place in the cosmos, made it part of the divine structure. That acknowledgement is its own kind of reverence. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism animals in the Abrahamic traditions. The Abrahamic traditions take a fundamentally different position on sacred animals, and the difference is theologically significant. In Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, animals are not divine. They are not gods, not vehicles of gods, not embodiments of the divine. The prohibition on idolatry, the absolute centerpiece of all three traditions, made the worship of any created thing, including animals, a theological impossibility. And yet, animals fill the sacred texts of all three traditions with an insistence that goes far beyond decoration. The dove. In Genesis, the dove returns to Noah with an olive branch, the first sign of the world's renewal. In the Christian Gospels, the Holy Spirit descends on Jesus at his baptism like a dove. The dove becomes the universal symbol of peace, of the divine presence, of hope after catastrophe. The dove is not divine, but it carries divine meaning. It is the bird that moves between the divine and the human, the messenger that arrives when God wishes to signal something to the world. The lamb. In Judaism, the Passover lamb sacrificed and its blood placed on the doorposts of Israelite homes was the sign that protected the firstborn from the last plague. The lamb's blood as protection, the first animal whose death saved human lives in the biblical narrative. In Christianity, this imagery transfers directly to Jesus, described in the Gospel of John as the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. The sacrifice of the animal becomes the template for understanding the crucifixion. The lamb represents innocence that willingly accepts death for the sake of others. In both traditions, it becomes the primary image for the ultimate sacrifice. The raven and the hoopoe, Islamic animals of wisdom. In the Quran, when Cain killed Abel and did not know what to do with the body, God sent a raven to scratch the ground and show him how to bury it. The raven in Islamic tradition is the teacher of death's proper acknowledgement, the one who showed humanity how to give the dead their dignity. Solomon and the hoopoe bird. The Quran describes Solomon, the prophet king, who could speak the language of all animals, receiving a message from the hudhud, the hoopoe, about the Queen of Sheba. The small, crested bird as the messenger between kingdoms, between continents. Solomon's ability to speak with animals is one of the Quran's most remarkable details. It places him in a tradition of prophets who could cross the boundary between human and animal consciousness. The spider protector of the prophet. In Islamic tradition, when the Prophet Muhammad hid in the cave of Thar during his migration from Mecca to Medina, a spider spun its web across the cave entrance overnight. When the Quraysh soldiers arrived to search the cave, They saw the undisturbed web and assumed no one could have entered. The spider, the smallest, most easily overlooked of creatures, saved the prophet's life. God's protection came through the most humble, most ignored form of life. This story is not in the Quran, but is deeply embedded in Islamic tradition, and its message is consistent with the Quranic emphasis on divine signs present everywhere in the natural world. The spider's web is not sacred in itself, but it reveals the sacred, the divine care that operates through every corner of creation. The Aztec, the eagle, the jaguar, and the feathered serpent. The Aztec sacred animal tradition is among the most politically and cosmologically charged in any civilization, because in Aztec thought, certain animals were not just sacred, they were civilizationally foundational. The eagle. The founding myth of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital, now Mexico City, centers entirely on an eagle. The god Huitzilopochtli led the Aztec people on a long migration, promising them a land of their own. The sign that would mark the correct location, an eagle perched on a cactus, eating a serpent. After generations of wandering, the Aztecs saw this image on an island in Lake Texcoco. They built their city there. It became the greatest city in the pre-Columbian Americas. That image, eagle, cactus, serpent, is today the central image on the Mexican national flag. The founding vision of the Aztec state lives on in the symbol of the modern nation. The eagle in Aztec cosmology also represented the sun, specifically the sun's morning journey across the sky. Eagle warriors, the elite military class, were identified with the sun's power. To die as an eagle warrior was to become part of the sun's fire. The jaguar. If the eagle ruled the sky, the jaguar ruled the earth, and specifically the night. The jaguar is the most powerful predator in the Americas. It hunts in darkness. Its spotted coat mimics the patterns of shadow and light in the forest. It moves in absolute silence. Tezcatlipoca's smoking mirror, the god of darkness and changes, associated with the jaguar. Jaguar warriors were the counterpart to eagle warriors, where the eagle embodied the sun's power, the jaguar embodied the earth's power, the night, the hidden forces that operate in darkness. The two warrior classes together represented the complete cosmological balance, day and night, sky and earth, solar and nocturnal. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. The most philosophically complex sacred animal in Aztec and broader Mesoamerican tradition is not simply an animal, but a divine fusion of two. The Quetzal bird, the most beautiful bird in Mesoamerica, whose feathers were more valuable than gold, combined with the serpent, the creature of the earth and the underworld. Quetzalcoatl is the feathered serpent, the sky that touches the earth, the celestial that descends, the earthly that rises, the bridge between the upper world of the gods and the lower world of matter. As a deity, Quetzalcoatl was associated with wind, knowledge, the arts, and the creation of humanity. He descended to the underworld to steal the bones from which humans were made. As a cultural hero, he was a priest-king who taught civilization and was eventually forced to leave with a promise to return. The feathered serpent embodied the fundamental paradox of Mesoamerican theology. The divine and the earthly are not opposites. They are combined, inseparably, in the structure of reality itself. Celtic, Japanese, and indigenous traditions. Celtic, the stag, the raven, and the hare. Celtic sacred animal tradition permeates Irish, Welsh, and Gaulish mythology with a depth that is difficult to fully excavate, partly because so much was oral and was only written down after Christianization changed the context. The stag, specifically the white stag, was an otherworldly creature in Celtic tradition. Encountering a white stag was a sign that the other world was calling, that a quest was beginning, that something beyond ordinary human experience was presenting itself. Arthur's knights pursue white stags. Characters in Irish myth follow white deer into fairy mounds. The raven-like in Norse tradition was associated with warfare, death, and prophecy. The Morrigan, the crow goddess of death and fate, appeared on battlefields in the form of a raven or crow, watching the dying and the dead. The hare was sacred to the spring goddess, possibly Eostre, whose festival may underlie the modern Easter. The hare was connected to the moon, to cycles, to the boundary between the living and the dead. Japan, the fox, the deer, and the crane. Kitsune, the fox, occupies one of the most complex sacred animal positions in any tradition. Foxes in Japanese mythology are magical beings, intelligent, mischievous, capable of shape-shifting into human form, and associated with Inaraith Kami, divine spirit of foxes, fertility, rice, agriculture, and industry. Fox statues guard Inari shrines across Japan. The fox is simultaneously a trickster, a messenger of the divine, a potentially dangerous spirit, and a protector of harvests. The deer is sacred at the great shrine complex of Narathi. Deer that roam freely through the park are considered messengers of the gods. To harm one was historically a capital offense. The crane, associated with longevity, fidelity, and good fortune, is perhaps Japan's most universally beloved sacred bird. The legend that folding 1,000 origami cranes grants a wish is a modern form of a much older spiritual practice. Indigenous North America, the eagle, and the total spectrum. Indigenous North American traditions contain perhaps the most sophisticated ecological theology of any group of culture system, in which virtually every animal has spiritual significance, and the relationships between humans and animals are governed by complex protocols of respect and reciprocity. The eagle is sacred across almost every plains and southwestern tradition as the highest flying creature. It is the closest to the sky, and therefore to the Great Spirit. Eagle feathers are among the most sacred objects in many traditions. The right to wear them is earned, not assumed. The buffalo among plains peoples was not just a food source, it was a sacred being whose sacrifice was approached with ceremony, gratitude, and the explicit acknowledgement that the buffalo was giving its life and that this gift created obligations. The salmon among Pacific Northwest peoples, the fish that returns from the ocean to spawn and die in the same river where it was born, became the theological center of an entire civilizational relationship with the natural world. The salmon's return was celebrated with ceremony, greeted as a relative, and treated with every respect. The first salmon of the season was welcomed as a chief. What all of these traditions share: animals are not property, not simply resources. They are beings with their own relationship to the sacred beings with whom humans must maintain ongoing, reciprocal, respectful relationships. What every sacred animal has in common: 13 traditions, hundreds of animals, and beneath every cat goddess and elephant deity and world serpent and sacred cow, the same 5 insights. Pattern 1. The animal embodies what the culture most needed. The Egyptians in a flood-prone delta needed the cat that kept the grain safe. They made it divine. The Norse in a world of lethal winters needed to understand the wolf that hunted them. They made it sacred, not safe, sacred. The plains peoples needed the buffalo to survive. They made gratitude to it a theological requirement. The Aztecs needed military power and cosmological meaning for the sacrifices they made. They gave the eagle and jaguar divine status. Sacred animals are not arbitrary. They are the creatures whose qualities the culture most needed to ascend. Naming them divine was the way the culture claimed those qualities for itself. Pattern 2. The animal crosses a boundary. Almost every sacred animal exists at a threshold. The cat moves between the domestic and the wild. The serpent moves between the underground and the surface. The eagle moves between the earth and the sky. The raven moves between the living and the dead. The salmon moves between the ocean and the river, between salt and fresh water, between the vast open sea and the intimate stream of its birth. Sacred animals mark the places where categories blur, where one realm meets another, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where the human world meets something that exceeds it. They are sacred because they inhabit the thresholds that human beings cannot cross. Pattern 3. They carry divine qualities more purely than humans do. An eagle has perfect vision. A cat has perfect patience. A wolf has perfect loyalty to its pack. A dolphin has perfect playfulness. A bee has perfect industriousness. A spider has perfect engineering. Humans are inconsistent. We have vision sometimes and blindness at others. Patience sometimes and rage at others. Loyalty sometimes and betrayal at others. Animals, by contrast, are what they are. A cat is always a cat. A wolf is always a wolf. In cultures that valued divine perfection, the perfect embodiment of a divine quality, the animals that always, consistently, naturally expressed those qualities were windows into the divine more reliable than any human. Pattern 4. The relationship is reciprocal. Across almost every tradition, the relationship between humans and sacred animals is not one-directional. Humans don't just worship the animal, they incur obligations to it. You may hunt, but you must give thanks. You may use, but you must not waste. You may admire, but you must not destroy. The sacred animal requires something from you in return for what it offers. This is the beginning of ecological ethics, the understanding that the natural world is not simply a resource, but a web of relationships, each carrying obligations. Every tradition that made animals sacred was also building a system of obligations that constrained how humans could treat the natural world. Pattern 5. The threat of losing them. Almost every sacred animal tradition contains explicitly or implicitly the horror of what happens if the animal is harmed, disrespected, or destroyed. The Egyptian who accidentally killed a cat faced death. The plains hunter who failed to honor the buffalo correctly could expect the herd to abandon the region entirely. The Japanese who harmed the deer of Nara faced divine punishment. This is not superstition. It is the recognition, encoded in theological terms, of a truth that ecology has since confirmed. The natural world is not separate from human welfare. The disappearance of a species does not just remove an animal, it removes a thread from a web whose full complexity we do not entirely understand. The sacred animal traditions were, among other things, conservation biology encoded in the language of divinity. The animals were sacred, and some part of every culture that made them sacred understood, if we lose them, we lose something of ourselves. Every civilization that has ever existed looked at the animals that shared their world and saw something that exceeded ordinary explanation. A presence, a window, a mirror. The Egyptians saw the gods in the cat's patience, the ibis's precision, the cobra's lethal grace, and built a theology around the presence of the divine in the ordinary world. The Hindus saw the Divine Mother in the cow's inexhaustible generosity, the divine wisdom in the elephant's ancient memory, the divine devotion in the monkey's unbreakable loyalty. The Greeks saw their gods' qualities perfectly embodied, the eagle's sovereignty, the owl's night vision, the dolphin's intelligence. The Norse saw the wolf's power and refused to look away from it, making even the most terrifying animal part of the sacred order, rather than pretending it didn't exist. And the indigenous traditions, perhaps the most ecologically honest of all, understood that the sacred and the natural were not two different things. That every bear, every eagle, every salmon that gave its life so humans could live was engaged in an act of sacred generosity, and that this generosity created obligations that no generation could simply ignore. The modern world has largely lost this. We have removed animals from the sacred, placed them in industrial systems, reduced them to resources, renamed them proteins and units, and livestock. And something has been lost in that transaction, not just for the animals, for us. Because every tradition in this video understood something that took us until the 20th century to name with scientific language. We are not separate from the natural world. We are inside it. We always were. Every sacred animal, was a reminder of that. Here's what you walked away with today. Egypt built the most animal-saturated theology in history ever. Major deity had an animal form, and killing certain animals was a capital offense. Hinduism's sacred animals embody divine qualities: the cow's generosity, Ganesha's wisdom, Hanuman's devotion, with ecological and social wisdom encoded in their protection. Greek gods had animals that were chosen with poetic precision: the eagle for sovereignty, the owl for wisdom, the serpent for threshold crossing. Norse sacred animals were honest about danger: the wolf and the world serpent were sacred, not because they were safe, but because they were real. The Abrahamic traditions reject animal worship, but fill their texts with animals carrying divine meaning: the dove, the lamb, the spider. The Aztecs built their civilization on the eagle's sign, waged their wars through the eagle and jaguar, and made the feathered serpent the bridge between heaven and earth. And across every tradition, sacred animals live at thresholds, embody what a culture most needs, create obligations rather than just receiving worship, and carry encoded in theological language the first conservation ethic humanity ever developed. Next video, something completely different, but connected. We've spent this entire series looking at how different civilizations understood the divine: their heavens, their hells, their floods, their death gods, their sacred animals. Now we're going to ask the biggest structural question yet. Greek gods versus the God of the Bible. Could they even coexist in the same universe? Because these are not just two different answers to the same question. They are two fundamentally different ideas of what a god even is. The Greek gods are powerful but flawed, petty, jealous, deeply human. The God of the Bible is infinite, singular, omnipotent, and utterly unlike anything in creation. Put them in the same room, and what happens? That video is going to be unlike anything we've done before. Subscribe. Don't miss it. And for this video, comment below: which sacred animal from any tradition in this video do you think humans have the most to learn from, and why? I read every single one. See you in the next one.